Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm going to be doing a little speed painting and kind of going over a little bit of my drawing process. So I figured I'd do a speed painting one, more painterly style. Uh, the other time I tried a little bit of cartoon. I've had some fails, and I'm hoping that this one will be the best one. I've gotten all the quirks worked out of the software and hardware and microphone. Everything seems to be sounding pretty good. So if you have questions, just go ahead and let me know in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them. I've been setting up the stream here with Streamlabs OBS, and it's been a challenge to say the least. It's been a real challenge. So today is about painting, doing a quick draw on speed painting. I'm going to be doing a class, and it's starting Wednesday. And what's cool about this is that it's a digital painting class, and it's going to be from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Norfolk Technical Center in Norfolk, Virginia. And if you want to sign up, there's still just a few days left, and there's still a few spots left if you want to join. It's under $300, and it's from November 9th till I think mid-January, and every Wednesday night, and with the exception of the holiday break for school. But you can't beat this. I mean, we're going to provide the iPads, the pencils, the software. You can't beat it. And so if you want to join up for that, then yeah, I'd love to have you if you're in the area. I may do a virtual one, but I'm working out this software right now and to hopefully make the whole process smoother. So let's go ahead and begin. And like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. So right now I'm multi-streaming to Facebook and YouTube. So if you are having trouble on Facebook, you can then go to YouTube, and that's youtube.com/Liquidmethod. And so far, I don't have any drop frames, but we're going to begin anyways. I'm recording this, and at least the recording seems to work. So let's go ahead and begin here. So I'm going to be doing a portrait, and let's go ahead and begin here. And to be honest, when I start my portraits, they're just blobs. They really are, and it's. I don't know how I've gotten to this process. I think a little bit it has to do with plein air, and a little bit has to do with just the drawing group, the Norfolk drawing group. And I just start massing shapes and trying to get things there. And I have another video on my YouTube channel where I basically do a portrait of Willie Nelson. I just start out with a blob, and it's kind of one of those things. I just I'll move this down just a little bit there. It's I don't know. It just feels intuitive for me now. I would have never started this out in process had I when I first started out doing painting and drawing. And as a little kid, I was always detailed. I'd start with one eye, and then I'd move to the other eye, and hopefully I had the right distance, and then I'd go to the nose and the mouth, and then I wouldn't even concern myself with the face. But as I've told my students, I said, you can't really work that way. You kind of have to build a I use my banana split analogy quite often. I was like, you can't build a banana split without putting the bananas first in the boat, and then the scoops of ice cream. You can't go to the sprinkles before all of that. You have to put the banana and build the foundation first. So that's kind of what I teach, and that's kind of what I do with mine, and it has worked for me pretty well. So let's see here. I'm hoping that the Facebook is. I keep wanting to peek over and see if everything is good. But, considering that um, everything else seems all right, I might just try to, should have had my other phone, my old phone in here just as a peek see, so to speak, but just to check to see if the stream is crashed, because I did that before and the stream crashed. I wasn't looking at the stats and warnings, and I was just painting along happily, and suddenly I realized I've been painting with no viewers, and because everything crashed. I mean, YouTube crashed. I don't know if this is Facebook. You guys are my guinea pigs. I did a separate one where I did one stream with Facebook and then one stream with YouTube, and they both worked flawlessly. Mind you, this was like at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was. See, by then, let's just say it was a long night and a lot of troubleshooting, but it all seems to have worked out now, so we'll see how that goes. So usually what I like to do is kind of a T method, so to speak, and I'll just do a little bit of an overlay here because I might save the recording for my students. So let's go to Clear. So what I kind of like to tell everybody, is like try to get like a T here. So like that kind of, a T, and then from there you can kind of do where the head and here, and sometimes that helps if you're starting out, but I don't use that anymore. So and I've tried that for a little bit, and it actually works out pretty good when I was struggling, but now I just seem to have a different method for this. Oops, let's switch back to my old trusty brush. So yeah, so I'm just massing in shapes here, and see here. I did not announce this live stream because I've just had so many technical issues. Like, I really wanted to get on it a half hour ago, but Streamlabs was kind of being a little bit of a turd, and kind of crashed on me and deleted my themes, which is the overlay, but seems to be working fine now. My audio sounds good, and everything looks good so far. But I only have one viewer, and now I have no viewers, so I'm kind of wondering if I can't help myself. I'm going to just quickly go over here and refresh the screen, and let's see what happens. Okay, yeah, no, it's good. I'm worried mostly about Facebook, because Facebook is just a complete turd, and I feel like it's the main reason why I'm not getting anything to jive right now, so... But let's go ahead and continue drawing. So I'll just work from there. Okay, yeah, it's working. All right, we're good. So we'll go ahead and switch over. All right. So hope everybody's doing good. So is anybody, I guess we should announce the elephant in the room. Is anybody going to buy a lottery ticket tonight for, was it almost $2 billion? I'm going to try my mute thing here. And then my mute thing didn't work. I hit the wrong key. So, yeah. Is anybody going to throw their hand in for the $2 billion? I mean, seriously, I don't know what I could... I have no idea what could I spend with $2 billion. I mean, it's crazy. $2 billion. I don't know about you, but man, I'm ready to run and hide. But I mean, seriously, that's a ton of money. That's an absolute ton of money. And it'll be interesting to see. So I'll just check over here in the chat. Does anybody have any plans to buy the lottery ticket tonight? Even just one. Or are you kind of that person that says, nah, you're not a lottery person, I'm kind of curious. I will be honest. I'll probably buy a lottery ticket tonight, but I only buy one. I'm like, look, if I'm not one of those people to go out and spend $300 on the chance. I don't mind spending, $2 just for the pure entertainment of tuning in. So yeah, I don't know. All right. So I'm doing a little blob now. One of the things that I like to do is I kind of like to build and destroy a little bit. So I don't really like to commit to hard shapes and definition just yet. Still, I'm going to blow. Now, I will say that I do believe that when I do these streamings on Facebook, I can't help but feel like my stuff gets throttled. I don't think so much on YouTube, but I definitely feel like in Facebook, that I can't help but feel like some of these get throttled. And by throttled, I mean is like, people aren't aware. It's like my streaming online just goes. And I'm trying an experiment, and I've put my money where my mouth is and bought some software that'll allow me to stream easier to multiple streams at once, in hopes of seeing if, make it easier for me to try to do all this, as I can focus on drawing, but as well as, try to reach more people. But I'm not entirely sold on doing these streams for Facebook. I mean, unless you're using the Facebook app, I think I'm of the opinion that it gets throttled, and you're not going to see this. And I could be wrong. So just to recap of what I'm working on, I'm just blobbing in areas, and I'm only going to set myself up for. We've been online for 13 minutes, so I'm only going to try and put myself online here for an hour, because I've got grading to do, because it's the end of the semester and I have to grade. I have to do some grading, and all that fun stuff. But yeah, I thought this would be kind of cool. I could do the stream, and if it doesn't come out, I can at least then I've recorded it, and I can make this as a time lapse, which is fine by me. But I'm gonna have fun. And if you have any questions, feel free to chime in. But as of right now, as we can see, I don't have anybody following, so it's like ghost town. Maybe everybody's running out and getting a lottery ticket, because it's, it is $2 billion. Billion. I struggle to kind of like wonder what would I do with $2 billion except hide. I literally would not tell anybody. I think the pressure would be too much. And having witnessed upfront, I would say upfront, I wouldn't say personal, but upfront witnessing people who have that super fame and how they deal with it. Just being that person that everybody, that's the person who won the $2 billion. Life would never be normal again. And I've heard from too many people that privacy is a wonderful thing. So, luckily for me, I'm an artist, and I don't have to worry about that. I'm just like I wouldn't say starving artist, but yeah, just an artist. That's all. Nothing to see here. So I'm going to pull a little bit of highlights, not by much, just to kind of help shape the definition a little bit, make sure I'm on my mark. And whoops, there we go. I think I do just as much smudging as I do with painting. I think there's so much destroying that goes on when I'm working on these. So let's see here. Any other news? Let's see here. Anybody? I've heard the whole Twitter debacle thing. The blue dot, or what do you call that? The blue dot, right? You know, that verifies. Yeah, I don't think I'll be partaking in that. It was $20, now went to $8. Don't think I'll be doing that. It was interesting to hear from celebrities like Stephen King said, nope, not doing it. And then this weekend, it seems like there were a lot of people impersonating Elon Musk's account. So that was kind of interesting as well to see that his account was, I don't think his account wasn't hacked, but just everybody showed how easy it was to claim that they were Elon Musk, which was kind of hilarious. I don't know how I love technology, but sometimes, it's messy, especially with social media, and it's very messy, and it's hard to tell what's really going to become of all of this. But I love the idea that I can sit there and at this point live stream in total privacy because nobody's watching. Throw something out to, the whole wide world of web and be obscure enough to still, nobody cares, nobody watches. But, I can then take that same recording and share it later, and I'll be up there for everybody to see, and I can share my painting process. So as you guys can see here, I'm just trying to make some shapes here. So all I'm really doing is looking for shapes, looking for geometric shapes sometimes. And I said I would probably put an hour into this, but I'm not going to put anything more than that. Yeah, I think, that's about right. I'm going to end this at 9. So it's 9 Eastern time. If you happen to be on the West Coast, I guess this would be 5. 3-hour difference, yeah. And let's see here, what else is new? So some people are flocking to out of Twitter into other spaces, and it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And I'm sure that somebody's going to try and, catch on and dominate the next social media buzz. I've heard some older technology. People are trying to go to that. One that I keep hearing a lot is Mastodon. And I was, just listening to it. It's just like, Mastodon's really, it seems like more private than, I think you just need a central place where everybody can go. Having these little private chat places is great. And I think, for artists, if you want to, collab and do stuff like that. But I think, having this whole public forum of the internet can be good. But I don't know. I'm on the fence about, having everything the World Wide Web and, just no man's land. Or do you try to, how would you say, police it all? I don't know if it can't ever be policed completely. I mean, there's still going to be some places that are Wild Web, but, same time, it's like too many rules and too many restrictions, you end up stepping on somebody's foot somehow, for good or bad. I mean, you definitely shouldn't have the worst of vile stuff out there. But, just because somebody doesn't agree with you doesn't mean that they should, they should have a place to put their voice within reason, I don't know. It's just a weird time. That's why I'm glad I don't talk about politics. All right. It seems to be hard to talk about technology without talking about politics, though. All right. And once again, I have nobody. All right. Let's see here. So I'm just trying to get some simple values. You'll notice that I haven't really done in here. It's pretty just low value, and that's really kind of to help the colors harmonize. Usually, I don't like to go straight into crazy values right off the bat. I've taken a workshop once when I was first starting out with painting, and there was an artist who did amazing work and had this unusual color palette, and I tried it, and it just was not for me. I ended up making more of a mess. And they did talk about color harmonizing, but I think it was just one of those things where I just at that time wasn't seeing it. But to each their own. So we're trying to make some definitions here. Softer edges. So this is also a place where I'm looking to find hidden edges and sharp edges as well. So just trying to find those spots. And maybe I need to push that ear back just a little bit. Yeah, push the ear back. So we're going to do a little recreation here. Push that ear back. See how I'm just moving it over? There we go. It's a little bit better. Just a little bit. Gotta make a correction here. Looking where I can put this without going. Okay, I think that's about right there. So sometimes when you're working with a photo, you get these distortions that just don't look natural. And right now what I'm seeing here is a ear that doesn't quite look natural. I think it's probably just because of the lenses that they used. So some of these new lenses, they kind of do a weird distortion on it. So, but yeah. So let's see here. I'm going to just replay. So if you're just joining me now, I want to replay what I've just started. So let's get a video. Once again, it's just a mass blob, kind of what I'm throwing together. I just kind of sculpt things out. And I was showing earlier about how using the T method just to kind of align the eyes and the nose, especially when a head is tilted, that T thing helps. So this is where we're at. We're about 24 minutes in. I'm only going to work on this for about another 36 minutes. And then we'll call it a day. It's just a little speed painting demo. Have a little fun. Yeah. So, and if you have any questions, I'll be sure to check the chat if you're on there. And if you just happen to be one of those little bots out there, then, oh well. Do bots get to do anything? I'd like to think that sometimes those bots are real, like, how do you say, artificial intelligent bots. But it'd be kind of nice to think of, something like that being a gremlin, if you will. But, a bot with personality might be a fun little cartoon. So speaking of cartoons, I've introduced my daughter to Calvin and Hobbes, and so I've got to go and see if I have. I think I had a book, and I gotta see if I still have that book, and if so, then I'll bring that in. I mean, not bring that in, but I'll pull that out. If not, then I might have to go get a book. I mean, my kids. I'm gonna move this down a little bit here. There. I had the Garfield books from when I was their age, and they love Garfield. And it's like both my son and daughter, they love Garfield. I think they like Garfield more than I did. Honestly, I really do. And, it's kind of fun to, have those generational things to share with them. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to start looking to get some highlights here. Just not major highlights, but I'm trying to do a little bit more sculpting, if you will. So we're going to look to pull out that nose. And we're going to then look at the nose here and see. And just do a little bit of sculpting here. There. And then I'll use my, I've also got a shortcut that I use. I've set up my color picker to actually, if I press it down and start drawing, it uses, it is a smudge. So like if I go like this, I can quickly smudge. And this used to be the color picker, but I reprogrammed it to be the smudge, which I like. But the problem is if I do this, then I block the camera. So I'm trying to refrain from doing that so I don't block the image. So I thought it'd be nice to kind of see like how I make my marks on here as well. So kind of see where I'm putting my pen and whatnot. So, I'm going to try and level up that other eye. And there, a little bit more. There. And this is one thing I do love about having it on screen and on my iPad. I kind of get a little bit of distance at a glance. And if you haven't tried it, I will tell you that if you do drawing and you have the ability to put your iPad on the screen like an Apple TV, man, it's great because you can look at it from a distance and then go back to the details. And whereas when I'm painting, I have to constantly step back and forth. And that's another tip that I like to share. So now I'm going to pull out some highlights. This is one thing that I like about when I'm looking for photos to paint is these really nice areas that kind of give a little bit of dimension, this whole shadow, light contrast, and so many. I think I got this from the app called Museum, which allows people to upload their photos, and so that artists can draw them. And so this is I think it's a fun thing to do. I really enjoy it. But the problem is, it's like dumpster diving. You end up having to really look for good photos, and this is one that I found that I thought was really good. I don't always find good ones. That's the problem. I end up having to really find a bunch of bad ones, and then I just get frustrated and I leave. I'm like, I didn't find anything. It's like fishing. So I'm going to just do a little bit of the eyelid here. I don't want to do too much. That's one thing I've learned. It's not to spell everything out. It's taken me a while to really let that sink in. But yeah, try not to spell everything out is something I've learned that works for me. It's not the easiest thing to say, at least I love detail, but as I've gone and seen, more painters, I really look at what they do and they make it look so good. And then I look at it closely, like, well, there's nothing really there, just as the implication that there's something there. And that's what really amazes me. Sargent is a master at that. And I love seeing his work up close. And every time I get a chance to see his work, it's great. I don't get to always see it. I need to go up north to see some of his work that's up north. I just have not had the chance yet. But when I do, I'm going to be excited about it. So I'm going to do a little bit more highlights here. And we're about at the halfway mark. So, yeah, about at the halfway mark. I'm not really going to do too much. But one of the things I'll just talk about, when I was reading some notes by one of Sargent's students, and this kind of really resonated with me, was look, I would say, don't worry about the likeness, just paint the person, which really resonates. It's like, I was always a stickler for trying to get the likeness, and then after a while, it's like, oh, okay, I see what they're saying. Don't chase the likeness, just get the figure and form first. That's, likeness will come later, and being Sargent is a master of doing portraits, it sounded like, pretty sound advice to me, to, how do you say, I'd rather have a good painting and everything look good than to sit there and have a bad painting and it looks like the person, but it's such a bad painting. And it's like, those are the things that I can't stand, is looking at a bad painting. Okay, I see that my eye is off. Now I have a couple options here, and it's the pitch of the eyes here. It's just not right, and I'm not sure. I think I've got the eye on the left side here. This eye here, I think it's off. Now I have two options here. I can either circle it and raise it up, or I can erase it and redo it. And I think I'm going to throw caution to the wind. Let's erase it a little bit. And I don't even think I have to do that much. I just have to bring it up just a little bit and then reconstruct it more. And I may have to raise that eyebrow a little bit too. So maybe there's not as much as I thought. But sometimes I don't like the idea of popping something, because sometimes removing something, cutting it out, and placing it back in involves just as much work that is to redrawing it. Not always. Sometimes, that whole little cut and paste thing can be helpful. But I don't think today is it. Let's try and do a little destroy. So far, let's check and see my drop meter and see your stream quality is good. And let's go and look, and I'm just going to peek see into Facebook, and okay. So it looks like I'm live on Facebook and no drops, and whereas YouTube does not look good. YouTube looks really bad. It's spinning, and yeah, I really believe, I just sit there and reloaded the page. Let me go back. I hate this part, but I really believe that this is the problem, is that Facebook does not allow me to stream to multiple streams. It's just being a poo-poo head. And whereas YouTube, I was there. I was streaming and everything looked good. And it says I'm live, but when I click on it, it's just spinning. And I can see it says I'm live, but I'm not seeing jack squat. I'm going to mute it, and I'm just going to turn it down small here and see if it shows up, if it decides to catch up or not. Because if not, then it means what I feared all along, and that is that it's Facebook is the culprit here. It does not want to play well, or it's the software not. I'm not sure what it is, but it's typical of what I've been dealing with, which has been frustrating. Okay, I feel like the eye is a little bit better now. I need to get the angle a little bit better. Okay. yeah, it's not going. I mean, it's like, this really stinks. I mean, for somebody who would want to, you know, stream to two different areas, you know, it's not doing it, and it kind of stinks. So I'm gonna add a little bit of highlight. I'm just gonna roll with this. I mean, it's kind of a pain in the butt, man. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna stick with YouTube more than Facebook, because Facebook, it's working, but I feel like the algorithms is just basically throttling me, which kind of is a drag. So yeah, not cool at all. And it sucks because, you know, it'd be nice if you had these content moderators, but I mean, you have this content, and you're trying to push out something, and you can't. You know, you're like, they want you to pay for ads, they want you to do this and do that, and it's like, man, can we just make Facebook what Facebook used to be? But, you know, everybody's got to be a multi-billionaire, but I feel bad for Facebook employees. Rumor is massive layoffs, possibly tomorrow, due to Zuckerberg, you know, chasing the meta and trying to get there. I don't think everybody's ready for that. I mean, when you can't even, the word is that even his own employees don't want to use Meta, which makes it interesting. I mean, it's like, when your own employees don't want to use the software, then that's a problem. All right, so I'm just going back to the ear. I'm going to highlight a little bit here, and we're going to do some smudge here. So keep working, keep searching, looking for some areas to create. So, all right, so I got about 20 minutes left, and just the fact that I can see that YouTube is just YouTube down, Facebook is questionable. I've had no viewers. Yeah, quite interesting. Quite interesting indeed. And yeah, so I keep refreshing, and no play. But let's see here. Yeah, I think it's completely hosed. What can you do? So I think maybe what I'll just do from here on out is just do live on YouTube, and then we'll do live on YouTube, and then I'll just do links to Facebook, because this is ridiculous. It should not be this hard. Put a little definition here to the eyes. Just a little bit of a peak right there. I think I'm going to switch over to my calligraphy, and I'll see if I can put a little peak right there. A little pop, a little hot spot. Now let's go a little bit hotter. So there. It's funny how you can just put a little hint of a hot white in there, and it just makes everything, makes everything pop. It's a little bit on the nose there. Yeah, that's I'm enjoying this for what it is. It's just a sketch, but still, it's fun. It is fun. So, all right, let's go ahead and switch over to my other brush. Sometimes I'll, like in a previous drawing, I did a little bit of layers, but right now, if just in case anybody was asking, there's no other layers. It's just this layer. That's it. And it's the way I like to roll with most of my stuff. I used to be like the layer king when I first started out in Photoshop. And I would just have hundreds of layers. I'd max out in Photoshop. So it would say, no more layers. Can't do any more. And I would, go through and try to name my layers. And actually, I could have just done this here. I would go through and name my layers to stay organized. And it was a struggle bus just to stay organized. And, then I would paint on the wrong layer, and then everything would get messed up. And I said, you know what, this is ridiculous. I just need to learn to commit to one layer, and life is easier. And then I'm not so worried about, having to make mistakes, I'll just, if I make a mistake, I know what layer is on, and I quickly correct it as best as I can. And that's it. That's how to roll. Just like regular painting. I mean, layers are nice occasionally, but sometimes you just gotta pull the trigger and get the job done. And so here we go. So let's see here. And working here. Let's see if I can knock that back a little bit. And we are at that 42 mark. So we're in 42 minutes. I don't think I quite started at no, I didn't quite start. So I mean, it's under an hour, but I'm going to stop. I mean, it's just, I find that an hour is just enough to get done and keep it fresh. And, sometimes it's better to do like a multi-session, which I think is helpful sometimes, because then it allows me to go back with some fresh eyes. I did this recently with oil painting, and I enjoyed the process. It was like, I got an hour, let me get what I can get done, and then I'll put everything together on YouTube later, which is good. So let's see here. Put a little bit of backlight there, and just a little bit there. Blend it in. It's too much. Let's dumb it down a little bit. There we go. Whoop. Yeah, YouTube is like dead. So, if you're following me on Facebook, great. If you're following me on YouTube, it's down. Obviously, it's down. It's not even running. I don't even know if the YouTube is, the Facebook is running fine. So I can see that it's running fine. But yeah, this one here is on YouTube is hosed. It's not even running, which is kind of a drag. So I'll just go ahead and say live again. Yeah, it's a drag. So obviously, now the only other thing I can think of is that it's my internet. But the problem with it is that the software I'm using says I'm hardly using any CPU usage. So something else is at hand here, and I don't know what it is yet. I'll probably have to spend more time trying to get to the bottom of it, but not right now. But yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, it should just be easy to stream. It's not like I'm asking for too much. So, at this point, I've had pretty much nobody following me on this, so I imagine there's other issues at hand too. Or it's everybody's in line trying to get a $1 billion, $2 billion lottery ticket. I'll be one of them later. Sure. What's the worst that can happen? I lose $2. That's not life-changing for me. And if on the off chance that I actually would win, you'll never know. I won't tell. love my day job, so I'll keep working it. That's one thing. It's interesting how some people are like, "Oh, when? Yeah, I'm gonna quit my job." Yeah, I can sympathize with that, but for now, I really feel lucky that I've got a chance to work with kids and help the next generation of creative people, get them a head start. And that was another thing of one of the things I wanted to do with the streaming was that, I thought it'd be kind of cool to do some streaming and maybe even help raise some money for class supplies and stuff like that. So they could, do a live painting to some degree and auction off some of these paintings that I do and, to pay for, some of the kids' stuff. But, because some of them, as any teacher can tell you, we always need supplies. We always need supplies. So if you're watching this, I don't have anybody watching now, but if you're watching this in a recording that I post up, if the recording's good, and you wanna donate to my class for my kids, let me know, and I'll tell you what kind of supplies that they need. All right, we are at the 13-minute mark. I'm going to mute. All right, mute and unmute works great. So I still have a recording. I have no viewers. So yeah, this will be interesting to see what happens. So this is fun. Just laying in a rough sketch here. I might do this as a continuation, but it'll have to wait till after I teach class on Wednesday, so I will not be doing. It's interesting. I'm just making an observation. I need to go to a darker red. Yeah, I'll probably might do this on Friday. That might be the time to do it. We'll see. Oopsie. That's the one thing. I don't know about you, but there's one thing about painting digital and painting traditional. There are times where I wish there was an undo button for real painting. Just like, please, I just messed up. And I really need to undo that. But there's not. So okay, let's see if we can get a little bit of flow here. And a little bit of brightness. I want to put a little bit closer to red in here. Too much. Let's go here, and let's go a little bit richer red. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay. All right. And so far, yeah, I'm using 0.69% of my computer is working to stream to 2 channels and record. And was it 1080? So the fact that YouTube isn't working now just tells me something else is awry, and I don't know what it is. But when I do the streams individually, there's no problem. start. I'm going to spend, I've got 9 minutes. I'm going to spend that 9 minutes trying to get a little bit more detail just for fun. And see about getting a little bit softer on that nose, because this nose shadow is pretty harsh, so I want to soften it just a little bit. And let's go ahead and see about getting that red. I need to get a little bit brighter red, but not something that's too far off. That's, ooh, yuck. Let's go back. Let's go try here. That's it. That's exactly what I want. This is it right here. Okay, that works. So I'm happy with that. Let's try here. Okay. And we'll go some highlights here. Okay, and let's go ahead and throw this red over here. Soften it up. Okay, and soften down here. And over here. Yeah. Let's step back and see where, yeah, it's not bad. And I don't have much time to really play around with this too much, so I need to be efficient as possible. Yeah. Sometimes when you're painting, you just gotta know what are the most important areas to hit, where some of the not important areas that can wait till later. So you kind of, especially when you're outdoor painting, you've got to learn to prioritize what could be done now, what can wait. And that changes depending on what the weather is, because sometimes, you know, the weather turns really crappy really quick and you don't have a lot of time. All right, back. Okay, I'm gonna push that eyebrow up a little bit, and then we're gonna make it there. I'm gonna push the eyebrow up here a little bit higher, and then destroy a little bit here. And that's one thing is you know, I've learned, it's taken me a while to learn, but not to be, oh, how do you say it? Just, you know, not to be a slave to the photo, that you have to be able to say, oh, let me do this, and not worry about the photo said this, I must do this. No. You've got to be able to express yourself. I mean, if you just work on the photo, you know, try to get something that's completely photorealistic, it's boring. It's like, okay, there's a nice photo. Wow, looks like a photo. Any expressionistic painter is gonna just like throw up in their mouth, and just die a little bit when someone tells them, wow, that looks great, looks just like a photo. Yeah, we die a little bit inside when somebody tells us that. I do, at least. It's like, no, it's a painting. It's supposed to look like a painting. That's all it is. It's just a painting. Okay, the lips are doing something weird here, and I'm not sure how to decode it. So, well, I think it goes a little dark there. And I just have to destroy a little bit and probably put a little bit here. How much time? I'm really going to stick to this whole, 1 hour thing, because it just makes life a little bit easier. It's like, okay, I did it, you know. So I'm gonna put a little bit of highlight on that lip there and run it across and here and little bits here, and then I'll smudge it. Oh yeah, that's fun. That's looking really fun. I'll smudge it a little bit. Okay. Get a little bit darker right there. Not by much. Just a little bit, and we'll destroy there. Get a little weight to that. And then I think I need to go here. So we're at 3 minutes left, so I don't have much time to mess around with this. I really don't. I've got to get boogieing on here and make some choices on what's going to work and what's not. And I can't really worry about too much of what to do. We just got to go do it. Just do it. Do it. This is fun. This is what I enjoy right here. These trying to nail. Got the last bit. Let's go. I'm probably gonna do it. I'm probably gonna go and probably gonna go and try and put some earrings in. I think just as the last bit. Yeah, I think I want to do that. Not by much. I've got 2 minutes, so I don't really have much to do. So let's see if I can get that in there. All right, let's go. We're going to just stick to the same colors. Gray. Switch to my calligraphy brush. And we're going to... Oop, that didn't work. All right. This is what I love about Procreate. You can get pretty big with this. I don't like that one, so let's try it here. There, like that. And then we're going to do... And I've got just under a minute, so I'm going to destroy a little bit here. And we'll put a little bit of highlights. We'll go to we'll go here and put a little bit of highlights right here for right now. And there really isn't too much of a highlight there, so I'm not going to worry about it. Let's see if I can probably put just a little bit right there. You know, and we are at 15 seconds. Gee, no pressure, 15 seconds. Okay, yeah, I'll go over here and I'm going to add a little bit of a swipe. Let's go over back here, switch over to my brush. We're going to just pop a little bit of definition there. There we go. That's it. That's all I got. All right, so thanks for tuning in. Nobody. But let's just, because it's a recording, let's go ahead and rehash the speed paint in, less than an hour. And we're just going to time-lapse replay. So once again, to recap, I just kind of do a blob of simple shapes, and I kind of finesse from there. And just carve. I put some midtones. I don't really like to work dark, and I don't like to work with highlights. I kind of like to work in the midtones and then slowly bring things out. As you can see, I'm constantly shaping the face as I paint. So I'm not one of those that like to get precise on an eye and then move to the next eye. It used to be when I first started drawing. But I've learned to kind of like reframe from that. And as I gave my analogy, is work on the foundation, same as building a sundae. You got to put the banana at the bottom, then 3 scoops of ice cream. Then you've got to go and then do the syrup, then the toppings and the whipped cream, and then you add the cherry. And people want to go to the cherry first, and you can't do that. You got to build a foundation. So hopefully you get a little bit of something as far as, you know, how to approach portrait painting in digital form or in painting form. And if you like this, let me know in the comments, and I will maybe we'll do hour 2 and continue this. But for right now, this is it, and thanks for tuning in, and I will see you later. Happy painting. Pop, 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 pop.